Hey there, folks. Welcome in to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes Day by Day. Today is the 23rd of January. Thanks for being here. We have a lot to talk about. If you saw the free-to-play day today, I alluded to some stuff that I said I was going to address in here, and that's exactly what I intend to do. So I did a life update well, at this point, I actually recorded it in real life a few days ago. By the time you're seeing this video, it will have been about 2 weeks ago. Um, but that's fine. I'm sure nothing, I did it, just because I saw letting a person do it. And so I'm like, you know what? Now's this time as good as any to do it. So let's just do it. And it was pretty status quo up until today. And then today we got our new foster son. So if you've been following this account since the beginning, you know that the name of the account was originally Swgoh. And then I changed it shortly after to BJ Will Be Missed. And the reason why I changed it to that, and we had that up until about, what was it? Day 4? I'm not, like, 80 days ago. I don't know if I did it day 4. Maybe it was day 4. 423, or I can't remember if it was 423 or 523, somewhere in there. That I changed it from that to what it is now, which is Sava forever. And but the reason I changed it to BJ Will Be Missed originally because BJ was our foster son that we had at the time, and he left under I don't know what kind of how I would describe it, but it kind of really hurt me and my wife, and we took 6 months off to clear a head type thing. And then when we got back, and then when we decided to go back on active whatever, we get a foster son in November of 23, which was about 6 months after that, who was a 5-month-old boy, and his name is Landon. And as it turns out, I think I've alluded to it a little bit. We have a very good relationship with Landon's mom. She lives down the street, and Landon spends a lot of time here because childcare and all this fun stuff. So much so that Landon is asleep on the other side of the wall, on the other side of this computer. He's asleep in his crib. We got him when he's 5 months, and that has been 14, a little over 14 months ago, and he reunified back in December, so last month. So he's been reunified with his mom for about 45 days. So he's been actively living with her for about that time. But during that time, he's also come to visit us, and we babysit quite a little bit. So much so that he's actually spending the night, and he's asleep in his crib right now in the other room, in my son's room. And so that happened before Christmas, and we sort of been waiting. And today we got the call about the new child, who is a 7-month-old boy, and he's brand new. He's scared. He doesn't understand what's going on. It's a change. We'll be fine. But other than that, that tends to move your perspective when that happens. And one of my favorite authors has a quote saying that change of pace plus change of place. So pace, so change of place. So, excuse me, let me start over again. Change of pace, meaning the cadence in which you do life, plus change of place. So the speed that you're doing life plus where you're doing life equals change of perspective. And so we were like, living our life, and then all of a sudden it got cold. Like super cold. And as I've alluded to before, I grew up in the South. Maybe I've said that outright. I grew up in the South. I didn't grow up in the North. I grew up in the South. I like my sunshine. I like my sunshine. I like my summer. I like my warm weather. We do not, my friends, enjoy cold. We do not enjoy winter writ large. This snow stuff, don't care. Go away. Cold snow, no. I understand you think, I understand that there are people in this world who like it and think it's beautiful. I just don't happen to be that person. If you like snow, I get it. If you like cold weather, that's an entirely different conversation. Because I don't get sick in the summer. You know when I tend to get sick? When it gets cold. That's when most people get sick. You know why? Because fall, stuff begins to die. And in winter, it gets even colder. So that means the stuff that was alive in fall, in winter, it all dies. That's why I don't like winter. Because I tend to get sick. A lot of people tend to get sick. There's a lot more disease. There's a lot more illness. You're cooped up inside. So you have all these germs and stuff floating around, and you cannot get it out of your house. Why? Because it's too cold to open a window. Open the door and let the fresh air come in and wipe all the crap out of here. That, in a nutshell, is why I don't like winter. What I do like? Spring. What I love? Summer. I love spring because I get to see this amazing stuff come out of the ground. You know what they're called? Flowers. And green leaves. And leaves. And fruit. And vegetables. And life. And abundance. That's what I like. So we like spring and we love summer. Yes, it can be a little warm, but you know what? We likes shorts. Shorts are our friends. Wearing shorts is awesome. Wearing pants and sweatpants, come on now. No, I tolerate it. But I will gladly wear shorts. You know what else I can do in the summer? You know what else I can do in the spring and summer? Go swimming outside. Be outside in general without having to worry about ice and snow and having to wear 25 layers of clothes. That's what we don't like. Anyway, I mentioned this whole cold thing. Got off on a little bit of tangent there. Apologies for that. It changed my perspective. It did. That and this awesome podcast that I've been listening to for about, let's see, what year is this? For about, is this will be 10 years. I don't know exactly what point, but 10 years I've been listening to this show. If you knew me before 10 years ago, you probably saw signs of things changing. But 10 years ago, I discovered this show. It's a show that's on radio, I'm sure someplace, but it's on a network. And it's an amazing show. And it's totally, it's helped shape me in a lot of ways. And I know that it's helped shape a lot of people because the host of this show does Feedback Friday every Friday. And every Friday, he gets people writing in and he'll talk about what they're talking about. And a lot of people are very thankful. A lot of people ask questions. And I've been listening to the show just about every episode. Probably, I would have to say I'd probably left. If I'm being honest, I probably have listened to at least 75% of the shows, somewhere around there, 75, 80% of the shows over the past 10 years. And it's a show that's produced basically 5 days a week, except for like Thanksgiving and Black Friday and the Christmas 2-week holiday and Memorial Day and vacation type stuff. So it's just like anything else. But it's a show that is called the Steve Deace Show. Steve Deace, and the Deace is not spelled how you think. It's Deace. Deace. Steve Deace. I know it sounds like Steve Deace, but it's Deace. I don't know why. It's not my last name. It's his. But great show. It's three guys. Two of the guys are contemporaries. And then their executive producer is a millennial. And it's just a phenomenal show. And I found a lot of value, and it does this weird thing, right? It does this show. So this guy does this show. And he does it unapologetically it's a current event show, but it's done with an actual biblical worldview. Instead of just saying stuff and claiming that it's a biblical worldview, like quite frankly, a lot of people grift and do that type of thing. But this show actually does it. And it's deep, and dude's a thinker, and I'm a thinker, and if you're not a thinker, then quite frankly, it'll probably make your head hurt. But if you're somebody that appreciates thinking and processing and thinking through things, it's like it's like I don't know. It's just it's a very um it's a very intellectually stimulating show. And that's why I like it. Because because I can be very, you know, very relatable when I want to be. Um But where I thrive is when I get to actually sit down and process. But there's a point in during processing when processing and thinking can become paralyzing. And the key to be able to be successful is know where that line is. And when you get to that line, you just do the thing. Because if you just sit there and process, that's all you're gonna do. And it will paralyze you. Because you'll be so afraid of making mistakes that you'll have that instead of FOMO, you'll have fear of doing anything. It's not fear of missing out. You'll be afraid of doing anything. And that canon is more scary than fear of missing out. Because when you have fear of missing out, you potentially are just missing out on things that you think are really great that can be detrimental. But if you don't allow yourself to be paralyzed, if you allow yourself to be moved out of your paralysis, and you don't out of your analysis, excuse me, mistake there, and you just act, and you act intentionally when you've done all your research. And sure, you could always do more, but instead of doing more, you just decide, I've done enough research and I don't foresee it changing. And if I don't act, I'm going to miss whatever the thing is that I'm searching for. And I think that's what a lot of Christians do, is they either never actually take time to think, they just act, or, and this is usually the case, they just don't even bother to think about it or do any or act at all. At least that's what I found. What I found is most people, Christian or otherwise, would rather not even consider or do anything. They just rather sit on the sidelines. They just rather Netflix and chill. But why do they want to do it? Because that's safer. That's like this whole game. Why do people chase GLs right off the bat? Because it's safe. That's what's accepted. That's what everybody else does. So that's what they do. That's why they start with the SLKR farm, one executor farm, and then they build. Okay, we're gonna do C next. Okay, we're gonna do whoever next. We're gonna do this guy next. We're gonna do this guy next. Instead of actually thinking about like what I'm trying to do with this game and what I try to do with my life is actually think about, okay, what do I do next? And that's the reason why sometimes you can be very frustrated with me when I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I say I'm going to do this, but I think I might come back and put this in instead. Is because, we've been on this road to Leia since I announced this. I don't even know when I announced that I was going to go to Leia. Believe me, unless things go dramatically off the rail, we will end up at Leia. Probably not this year, and probably next year. But Maybe not. Maybe not. Yesterday I talked about the video I saw from Zareth, where Zareth was laying out, hey, Executor in the Star Killer, in the Jabba, in the Cal, in the Mummy Mandalore, into Profundity, into Leia, into Luke, into, all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I agree with the first part of it. And then at the point where it just becomes all about GAC, I'm like, okay, let's pump the brakes. Why? Because I think, as I've articulated, GAC. I mean, GAC is a thing, right? But what Zareth said in that video, he's like, Mommy Mandalore can beat just about every jail. And then, or if you go get Leia, you're gonna beat just about everything else. So if I have Jabba, okay, that gets me a lot of stuff. If I get Kyle and Mommy Mandalore, that gets me a lot more stuff. Then if I have Leia and I have Starkiller and I have Mommy Mandalore, I've got great teams. And because I'm able to because I have Jabba, Cal, and Mommy Mandalore, I'm able to get stuff to make my account a lot easier. So that coupled with these assault battle teams that I'm putting together now, guess what I can do? At that point, I can basically go wherever I want, whenever I want. Instead of going, okay, SLKR, C, Kenobi, Luke, and just endlessly chasing these jails. Just endlessly chasing the jail. What I've always appreciated about the gerbil is that the gerbil has always said, don't chase the meta, chase the fun. Now, you can do whatever. You can chase jails, or you could dare to do something different. And if you just want to be told what to do, honestly, I'm not the guy for you, because I'm never gonna follow the prescribed path, whether it's Nooch's path or Gerbil's path or Zara's path or Arnold or Sanjita, or, by the way, congratulations on the baby, Sanjita, Calvin, or whoever. Captain Amazing. If you want to play GAC, go play GAC. Go. There's plenty of guys they'll be like, oh, this is what you got to do to have GAC. I'm not that guy. I'm going to be the guy who says, I'll get there when I get there, but I'm going to go do this other thing instead. And I think that's okay, because there's no Bible of how you should do this game. The problem is sometimes people think that, and here's where it's a little complicated. And the Bible is what God says every human person on the face of the earth is supposed to do, and that there are rules, and you're supposed to abide by those rules. Now, you can choose to cheat and not abide by that rule, but guess what? At the end of the day, you're still gonna have to deal with the consequences at the end of the day. In this game, there's no Bible. I'm not the authority. Arnold's not the authority. Nooch. Just if you want to go play GSC, knock yourself out. If you want to play Territory War, knock yourself out. If you want to do Naboo, I feel about you the same way I feel about Winter. Let me just put it that way. You can do anything you want to, whenever you want to. It's easy as that. But yeah, change of place plus change of pace equals change of perspective. You got a new baby, new foster baby. Might potentially be. We'll see what happens. I don't know. But other than that, we're just having fun, doing our thing the way we want to do it. If you think that, hey, this guy's got a pretty good point, I would say thank you. If you think that I'm nuts, I'm okay. I'll still be here tomorrow. I'll still be here tomorrow. If you're like, bro, you're a little too over my head. I love you, but I need to take a break. Cool. See you in a month. If you're like, hey, tell me more, like, does he have a car? Eventually. We'll get there eventually. I mean, you can send me a comment, leave me a comment, say, hey, love what you're doing. Send me a comment, say, you're wrong. It's okay. It's okay. We can talk. We can disagree. I can say no. You can say no. I can say yes. You can say yes. Or you don't have to do any of that. But if you do want to talk out here, if you want to talk about anything else, if you don't want to talk about the game, if you want to talk about life in general, I'm here. If you want to talk about sports, I'll try, depending on the sport. If you want to talk about whatever, I'm here. Anyway, I think that's all I got. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you know where I am. Otherwise, make sure you hold the line, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.